Thanksgiving stuffing without bread or grains? Yes, it can be done. Welcome to World AIP, the channel dedicated to helping you implement the Autoimmune Protocol. It is also helpful if you're on Well's Protocol, Paleo, Whole30, Bulletproof, Ancestral Diet. I'm Stacy, and today I'm making Thanksgiving stuffing, AIP compliant. So, basically, what I did was I took 1 pound of white sweet potato and I shredded it. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a cheese grater. 1 pound, shred it, and then I threw in a 1/4 cup of coconut butter or manna, which is about 75 grams. If you can't have coconut, that's totally fine. Just throw in oil. Just throw in like a 1/4 cup of avocado oil. Bacon fat. Use AIP approved bacon fat instead. That will be absolutely amazing. So there you go. That's the base. Let's season this up. To this I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon Himalayan pink salt, or you can use, you know, sea salt, kind of natural good salt. Onion. Now you can just use any old onion powder. I'm using my homemade caramelized onion powder just for a little extra. And we need 1½ teaspoons of the onion powder. We're going to use 1½ teaspoons of dried sage. That's closer to 2 teaspoons. 1/2 teaspoon dried thyme, 1/4 teaspoon dry rosemary, 1/4 teaspoon marjoram. Basically that's poultry seasoning. I'm also going to throw in just a pinch of mace. I'm going to go like 1/8 teaspoon of mace. And we just want to get this all mixed in good so we don't have a big spot of saltiness and then, you know, here's how I like to do it. Just get it mixed in really good. So I greased up this 8x8 casserole dish, and then I'm just gonna get that in there and pack it down nice and firm, like super firm. Like you want it so that it's gonna stick together. And then I'm just gonna loosely cover it with foil like this. And I'm going to pop this into my toaster oven at 450 for 45 minutes. And while that's baking, you're also going to need some, preferably like chicken stock would be perfect in this. I can't eat poultry, I get raging migraines, any poultry. So I'm going to use, I had some in the freezer, I had beef stock cubes. But if you don't have any stock, run out and go grab yourself a chicken and make some chicken stock, or use some bone broth or any kind of meat stock, vegetable stock. Anyway, if you don't have it, make some of that too. All right, 45 minutes is up. I took the foil off the top for the last like 5 minutes just to get a little brown and crispin on the top. It smells like stuffing. It smells like Thanksgiving in this house right now. So I'm just gonna cut this into like 1/2 inch squares. And then I'm just gonna break it up loosely. I don't want it to turn into a solid glob. Then we're going to turn that into dehydrated bread cubes. You can do this in your oven. You can just put them on a tray and bake them on a very low heat until they're totally dried out, like stovetop stuffing texture. I'm just going to pop them in my dehydrator because I want to just sleep, go to bed, and when I wake up I'm going to have my bread cubes. What I did here is I made my own trays out of parchment paper, because I didn't want to use the plastic trays. These bits are still really hot, and I didn't want anything to wash either. Single layer. Try not to smush it together because you want it all nice and loose and crumbly. By the way, you can do this step weeks before Thanksgiving. Make the dehydrated batata bread cubes that I'm doing here, and then just leave them in storage bagged until you're ready to make your stuffing. All right, I'm just gonna let that go overnight, and then we'll finish this tomorrow. So those went overnight, and they turned into the perfect, it looks like the instant stovetop stuffing. Look at this. These are crumbly bits, ready to make your stuffing. What does it taste like? Tastes like freaking Thanksgiving. I went shopping in my garden earlier and I picked some fresh sage, thyme, and rosemary. You could substitute dry, but it's really worth it if you can pick up some fresh poultry herbs. Sometimes they come in a packet with, it says poultry blend, that will work too, and then you don't have to buy 3 separate ones. Lots of sage, hint of rosemary, and thyme. This much thyme, just a little handful. I'm just gonna chop it all up. All right, let's make this stuffing. First thing we have to throw in the pan is butter, but you can't have butter, that's okay. So you can make my paleo butter pats, I call these. There's a link here and I'll put a link in the description. This is just coconut oil, not extra virgin, it's refined, so it does not taste like coconut oil and garlic. And there's just a hint of turmeric to give that lovely butter color. This is like 2.5 ounces or like 5 healthy sized butter pats. So I'm gonna heat those up on like medium-high heat. Once this starts to get all melted up, and it will burn because of the garlic in there, so don't let it burn. I'm gonna throw in 1 red onion. It's about 1 cup. If you wanna weigh that, it's 4 ounces. And I'm gonna throw in 1.5 cups of minced celery. That's about 7.5 ounces. You wanna saute these till they're nice and tasty and cooked through, nice and soft. Once that gets almost to the softness that you want it, throw in those fresh herbs. And now that these flavors are all meshed and the celery carrots are nice and soft, I'm just going to add 2 cups, 1/2 of homemade stock. Let's just get that heated through. I'm also gonna add a little bit of salt to this. I'm not really measuring it. I just wanna make sure that this has a decent amount of salt in it. Gonna balance out the sweetness of that white sweet potato. Now we can turn off this heat. Add our dried bread, or whatever you wanna call this. Wow, 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 wow. And then we're gonna pour this mixture into a greased casserole. Now I'm just gonna loosely cover this with foil, and then I'm gonna bake it at 400 degrees for half an hour. And then I'm gonna take the foil off and go another 15-20 minutes. It smells so good. Oh, by the way, guys, you really wanna pimp this out. At this point in time, you can add crumbled Jackson's Honest sweet potato chips. You can find those at Whole Foods. There's a link below to where you can get them on Amazon. But you crumble the sweet potato chips up and mix it into this. Also bacon bits, or cooked crumbled bacon, you can also mix into this. I chose the easy route. I didn't feel like doing the extra steps. If I had an oven, what I would do, and this would be the way to do it, this would be, get a baking sheet, get a cookie baking sheet, and just spread it thin, just like in a 1/2 inch to 1 inch layer, thin over the cookie sheet, and then bake it until it's, you know, dried up a little and crispy on the top. That would be the way to go. I don't have an oven, I have a toaster oven. I love it this way too, but the more surface area, the more crispy bits with that soft underneath is, oh, goodness. All right, let's get this in the oven. Look at this, look at it. Can you see the crispy bits? Oh, they're crispy. It looks like stuffing. It smells like stuffing. I gotta try it. You guys, holy, oh my goodness. All right, I know I always overreact. I know wow. I know I get a little excited sometimes, but this is warranted. This is warranted. You are going to be so deathly afraid that you got glutened if somebody else makes this for you. You have to make this for yourself under your supervision. Like this, see that, the chewy texture? Like it's got that crispy outside of the stuffing and then the inside, and then when you bite into it, it's just like bread. It's insane. Wow. You have to make this because it's amazing. All right, enough. And why did I have to make this at midnight? I literally want to eat the whole dish. Like, no, bad. Breakfast. Subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. They come out every Thursday, sometimes Sunday. If you want to see some behind the scenes clips of what I buy at the grocery store or what I'm working on, you can view those on Lens. It's just like an Instagram stories or Snapchat, but it's on Patreon, but you don't have to be a patron to view the clips. I have them set to public. So anyone viewing my clips tonight saw this stuffing in the making. I hope you love this stuffing as much as I do. It really is like one of my top 5 all-time recipes of all time. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I hope to see you soon, and until then, be healthy.